Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. If my voice for any reason sounds a little different, it's because I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I still wanted to try to do the voiceover and share these favorite books from November. The one on the left is a memoir called The Many Lives of Mama Love by Laura Love Harding, and on the right hand side is Don't Forget to Write by Sarah Goodman Confino. I think I'm saying it right. So two fantastic books. Starting with the decorating on the left hand side, I'm actually going to build the entire page and then move on to the right hand side. So I found some bird washi, probably from a very long time ago, but I had it and I decided I'm going to go ahead and use that along with a thin washi tape to kind of add some borders down at the bottom and then actually keep my stamping very minimal. I found a bird stamp in my stash. I think it's a Feed Your Craft stamp, so that's like a retired company. I also had printed out this clip art bird, and it was too big. It was almost as big as the book cover, and I felt like it would be too overwhelming. So I decided to just go with the birds that I found in Feed Your Craft. Now, they face to the left, and I didn't have anything else that would have a bird that faces to the right. It kind of bugged me, but in the end, I let it go. I also had black ink smudged on my fingers and got it right smack dab in the middle of my project. But that's okay. Sometimes that happens, right? So I did take a little like scribble with the red, it's like a scribble stamp, and I use red ink and I put that in different locations. And I'm also going to add in some blue since there is blue in the bird, and I stamped Keep Going and then My Story Matters because I felt like with this particular memoir, Laura Love Harding really does fight to have her story. She falls completely to rock bottom and manages to really pull herself back up despite so many obstacles that were thrown at her. So I made sure to stamp the My Rating and add in my box. I think I told you guys last time I made a spread that I tend to forget to add enough space for the My Rating. So I wanted to make sure that I actually did that this time. So I left a spot for the quote, and then right below the book cover, I put the synopsis. And I could have gone on and on about the synopsis, but I decided to try to keep it very short since I knew I wanted to have enough room for my thoughts. So this is the honest memoir of Laura Love Harding, and she considered herself a soccer mom. She was, at the top of her mom game, I guess you could say, and she became a drug addict, and then she was convicted and served time. She quickly learns prison has a hierarchy all its own, and yet she strives to treat her inmates with a loving hand like a mom. And Harding begins to piece her life together despite countless setbacks due to a complex system, which I found incredibly fascinating when she explained the system in which we all would have to deal with if we went to jail. She explained the system, and it's almost hard to imagine how people can get moving forward positively if they have all of these setbacks. But Laura Love was able to do it through grit, determination, deal with her trauma, even though the trauma caused her some shame, obviously, and she was able to work through all of that and kind of rise from the ashes. And that goes right into my thoughts, which I thought that she very much reminded me of a phoenix kind of rising from the ashes. She was completely down, had so many setbacks, and she kept going and was able to bring herself back from those ashes even better when she came back. And it was incredible. Her story was riveting and heartbreaking and captivating, and I loved it. I absolutely loved her memoir, and I could not stop listening to it. I listened to it on audio, and she narrated it which just made it even more compelling to listen to. So the last little spot I have is the quote, and of course it's going to be hard to pick a quote. I also wanted to fix the keep going and my story matters. They didn't stamp so great just because of how thick my book is getting. It's making things hard to stamp, and then the keep going was kind of on the edge and I didn't push so great. So it's more of a picky thing, and I just went ahead and stamped them on a piece of paper and then adhered them down with some adhesive. I just really wanted to make sure that those sentiments kind of popped, so that's why I went back and just stamped them. I didn't have to, but I wanted to. I also need to figure out what number book this is, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of year of books and count out my books in just a second. I also want to add a little more emphasis to the birds, and I'm going to color those in with a neutral tan Tombow in just a minute, or right now actually. But I wound up with 4 of the birds, and like I said in the beginning, they're going the opposite direction of the bird on the book cover. And in the end, I had to let that go that I didn't have a matching stamp, but I actually really like how those birds are going opposite of the book cover. And because it just doesn't take away from the emphasis of the book cover. I don't know. That's how I'm seeing it from that positive perspective. So the quote is that I chose: real power is about using your power to shine a light on other people so they can find their own power, which is just an incredibly powerful quote and has a lot of meaning to it, especially with this book and how Mama Love not only helped herself, but helped so many inmates and then helped so many people afterwards, and also helped her children as well. So of course I rated this as 5 stars, and then I will figure out the book number, and you guys get to see me do something really weird and silly with my hands, because I grabbed a piece of paper because I needed to remember what the book numbers were, and I knew I wasn't going to remember. So I grabbed a piece of paper and I was just looking like a pretzel. So I figured out what number the book was for I don't know what it's called, the Grandma Gatewood. I figured out that book, and also the Witches book. And so then I went back to the year of books and just counted it out. And you can see here, I'm holding it with my left hand and then trying to write with my right hand. It was pretty funny. I got myself all twisted up, but I got the numbers I needed, and this was book 142. For genres, I picked memoir and true crime, since Mama Love was convicted of a crime, and then that's why she was sent to jail. Now I'm going to work on the next spread, and I will say for this spread, I got a little carried away with the decorating, but I really couldn't help myself. It is such an incredible, incredible book. And I will have to say, this is kind of a fun side fact, but my friend Jen, Mrs. Boom Reads, recommended this book, and then my library didn't have it. So I requested my library to buy it, and they actually did. So I was probably one of the first people to check out the book and read it. So that was pretty cool. But the synopsis that Goodreads gives you does not even give you a fraction of what this book is about. So it's almost like you're going into this book blind, but it is incredible. I just loved this story, and there's just so much to this story of these 2 women set in 1960. So I am playing off of the book cover with the waves. I tend to do that with my decorating, just play off of the book cover or what happens in the book. So I got a stamp set from Everyday Explorers in 2 different blue inks, and I went ahead and stamped right above and below the yellow washi tape, then grabbed a love themed stamp set, because there's a lot of themes of love, family love, marital love, all types of love. And I just stamped the XO in different spots. So really did some layered stamping. Also just finished up drawing my rating box, and it totally turned out all wonky. I did not get the lines straight at all, but that's okay. I'm going to keep moving forward, and I found some really interesting stamps to use for this spread, and I think that's part of why I got kind of carried away. And I actually, at one point, I stepped away from this project and decided, you know what, I cannot fit this all into one little section. So I am going to do a flip out, and it's going to turn out fantastic. I just love it. So one of the stamps that I found was from Ali Edwards. It is a story kit stamp set that is themed about writing. So I grabbed that and I'm going to use it, and I already pulled out 2 stamps to use. And then I went in my yellow and orange die cut drawer, and I was kind of looking for some flowers, but I really didn't find the flowers that I was looking for, but I pulled out the stuff anyways just to see if I could use it. And then I did remember that I have some die cut flowers, probably digital stamp flowers, that I have in a drawer. So I grabbed those instead to use, and this is the flip that I am going to do. It is very similar to the Society of Witches book, the little tuck-in piece. It's very similar to that little flip out situation that I'm going to make, because like I said, I just was not going to have enough room to do my thoughts, the synopsis, and then all the quotes that I wanted to include. It was just not going to work. I also found a clear sticker that I had printed of a letter, but I am going to get rid of that because I felt like it was just too bold and too in your face. I don't know. It didn't work. So I'm going to get rid of that in a minute. I stamped writing my story 1 word at a time. And then also here are the words on my heart right now, up by my insert. And what I did last time for the witches book is I took a die cut and tucked it underneath another die cut. So I'm going to do that same thing. And what I did is I stamped a sentiment in orange that says ready for new adventures, which is perfect for this book. Can't really tell you why, but it totally works with the theme of the book. And I took out that clear sticker letter envelope and I replaced it with a journal, because this book has to do with writing and journals and scrapbooks, and it's awesome. Like I said earlier, I can't tell you much about this book. You just go in with the description from Goodreads or even my description and just know that it's going to be a fantastic book. So I found the flowers that I wanted to use. They're yellow and then I think a teal, and they're going to work perfect. And I'll use those in a few different spots and also on my flip out. And it's just, I love how this one turned out. And I am so glad that I decided to go with not only go with the bright colors of the book cover, but also do the flip out and finding that fun stamp set from Ali Edwards. So everything was just working really well together. I took a really large yellow flower, trimmed off a little bit of it so that way I could tuck it right next to the top of the book cover. And so I am just making a big old cluster right next to the book cover with all the different bits and pieces that I have. I thought about adding a teal flower up above the book cover, but that's not going to work, and so I will just add it to the flip out. You can see here I was kind of playing with it and seeing where it could go, but in the end I felt like that might have been pushing it too much. If I added that teal flower, it would have just been too much in that cluster that I have by the book cover. So I open the flip out and I will add the rest of the large yellow flower and also the teal flower. And of course I will add in some stamped sentiments because I just need to add in some more. So I added in Bring On the Words from the writing stamp set, and then I found a stamp that said Loving from Ali Edwards, so I will use that. And I also want to add some more movement to this spread and a little bit more of yellow. So I will stamp Thankful for the Little Things in orange. It totally was wonky, but I was like, you know what? It's wonky like it's wavy, like a wavy stamp. So that works. And then in the yellow, I found a circle XO stamp. So I went ahead and used that, and it created a lot of really fantastic movement in a different spot besides just the ones up at the top. Okay, so I'm going to start with the synopsis on the top. And again, I know I've said this, but I'm going to go with kind of the same thing that Goodreads did, which is very vague. It the description describes the book, but not enough for you to know exactly what a ride this book is going to take you on. So I started off by saying this is such a special book. The book opens with Marilyn Kleinman getting caught kissing the rabbi's son during the service. Marilyn is then sent to spend some time with her great aunt Ida. Her parents think Ida, the no-nonsense matchmaker, can help save their daughter. Yet, Marilyn is surprised to learn her great aunt is not the woman she imagined. She's fashionable, smart, business savvy, and layered with stories. Marilyn and Ida go to the Jersey Shore to find matches. Not for Marilyn. What follows is a life-changing summer for both of them. Marilyn must decide what path she will follow, and Ida will be there to guide her if she wants. Doesn't that sound vague? That is vague, my friends, and that does not cover nearly anything about the book, because the book has so much more to it than that. So if you guys have read it, I would absolutely love to know in the comment section if you have read it. And also right now I am reading a teen book. I just finished a book called What You Do to Me, which was fantastic. And now I'm reading the teen book called Betting on You from an author I really enjoy called Lynn Painter. And I'm listening to a nonfiction called Hidden Potential. So I've got a wide range of books going on right now, so that's a good thing, right? It's always good to have lots of great books to be reading. All right, so I'm going to open it up, and now I'm going to start on my thoughts for the book. First, I wanted to make sure that I didn't go too high where the thoughts were. I wanted to make sure. So I wrote thoughts, and I said this, like I keep emphasizing, this story turned out to be so much more than just what the description, and it was better. It was better. The characters are complex and wonderful despite the times that they live in, because this book takes place in the 1960s, so obviously girls are not supposed to be kissing boys in the middle of a church service, right? And Ida and Marilyn are so incredibly brave. They are women beyond their times, I guess you could say, and each of them is just, I will remember these characters for a long time. It took me on quite an emotional roller coaster, this book. I was enthralled and then crying and then gasping and then mad and then relieved. So it was such a fun journey that this book took me on. There was themes of family and growth and learning to forge your own path, even if it's hard, and doing it brilliantly. So great book, and I have lots of quotes to choose from, and I'm going to be able to add 3, which I'm very excited about. And it is book 131. The genres are historical, Jewish, humor, and chick lit. I made such a big box for the book rating that I was able to add a bunch of genres, which is awesome. And of course, the rating is 5 stars. So quotes, I'm going to start off with, "The world loves to destroy what it doesn't understand," which is absolutely a profound quote, and it's not only applicable to the book and that day and age, the 1960s, but all the way to today. The next one is, "Always say yes to new things," Ida said. "It's the only way you'll be able to write about life, if you actually go out and live it." So good. I mean, Ida is just, I love Ida. She's the best. And she's in her 70s, so this kind of fits into that uplit genre that I love so much. And then the last one is, "But the only things in life are worth it. The only things in life worth it are hard." So really great quotes, and that wraps up this project, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these pages come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.